Hey team, so welcome to the breakdown of the DBA Academy training program. So again, you're with Aaron and I'm about to just kind of take you through this program. Now what you're going to see is over the course of the 90 days, this program is going to be modified. So the training will stay the same. The only modifications will come down to the design of the program, basically trying to optimize it so that it looks nice and neat and clean, and basically you guys feel like it's a good quality product. Right now, I still feel like there's an element that needs to be kind of designed better, but we're going to work on that over the next 90 days. I just wanted to get a minimum viable product out to you guys and also just test the content, because the design element is a secondary element. The primary element is the content itself. And so what I want you to do is I want you to work through the content, daily, and then feed that back to me through your sessions. I'm already 2 weeks down, and it's going well for me. As I said, I have already dropped 2.5 kgs, and I'm looking forward to the coming weeks. All right, so I know that the program works. I've run programs like this often throughout my 10 years of experience. I get results through this programming. I know it to work. All right, so let me break it down for you so that you understand what it is exactly that you're getting yourself into, and then how to kind of navigate through the steps so that you're getting the most out of the results. All right, so we've got our training program here. So the DBA Academy 90-day challenge, it's unique in 4 aspects. Okay, so this is a unique program that is designed to get you results. How is it unique? Number one, it's 4x3 periodization. What do I mean by that? 4x3 periodization is basically a training philosophy that creates amazing results through what we call macrocycles. Okay, so a macrocycle is a mini segment of training over 3 weeks, and so we have 4 macrocycles. All right, 4 macrocycles through this 12-week journey or 90-day journey. And so you'll have 3 weeks in one cycle, then you'll move on to 3 weeks in another. And we're going to do something that is a little bit different to what you're used to, but it gets result really, really quickly. Okay, so that's the kind of basic structure. It's 4x3 periodization. What that simply means is you've got 4 little cycles that you're going to go through 3 weeks at a time. Okay, and it's really designed to optimize fat loss. The second thing is linear and reverse linear programming. Now, in order to create our gains, and increase muscle mass and radically drop body fat, we have to kind of be careful about how we program. And so we've broken the training week into 2 parts. So you have 2 sessions on the, let's say, on the left side of the week, Monday through to Wednesday, and on the right side of the week, Thursday through to Sunday. You've got a different way of approaching training. So in the first segment of training, what you're going to be focusing on is low repetition and high weight. All right. Now, as you work through the macro cycles, basically week 1, week 2, and week 3, what's going to happen is you're going to have a reduction of repetitions and an increase in weights as you go through that on the left hand side of your week, on the first aspect of your week. Opposing that though, on the right hand side of the week, from Thursday through to Sunday, the second half of the week, what you're going to have is a second segment which will focus on low weight and high repetition. And again, you're going to see that the repetitions will increase throughout that little macro cycle, throughout the 3-week system. Okay, so on week number 1, they're both going to start around that 12 repetition mark. On the first segment of the week, you're looking at 8 to 12 repetitions on the left-hand side. On the second segment of the first week, you're looking at 12 to 15 repetitions. Now, week 2, you're looking at 6 to 8 repetitions on the first segment of the week. On the second segment of the week, you're looking around, I believe it's 16 to 20 repetitions. And then when you go to the next week, it's about 4 to 6 repetitions on the first segment, and on the second segment, it's around that 20 to 30 repetition mark. And then we start that process again when we jump into our second macro cycle, because that's how it's going to work. Now, a few of you haven't trained before, so I need to kind of explain a few things. The first thing that I need to explain is what is a set and what is a rep. Okay, so the best way to think about it is a set is like a bucket, all right? It's a bucket, all right? Now, inside of that bucket go, let's say, Lego blocks, okay? So you've got a bucket with Lego blocks. Now, the bucket is the set, the Lego blocks are the repetitions. So if I said put 12 Lego blocks into that bucket and then put that aside, that's a set, all right? So 12 repetitions goes into one set. Do you get that? Cool. All right. So let's say there are, 4 sets of 12 repetitions. That would look like 4 different buckets filled with 12 blocks in each bucket. Okay? So I'm hoping that illustration kind of clarifies things. I don't want you to get confused with the terminology. It's really simple once you get the hang of it. Okay, the third aspect that is unique to this training is what we call metabolic activation. This is the key. The next two are really the key kind of proponents to this training. First is what is metabolic activation? It's not a new principle. I believe there's nothing new in the fitness industry. We get revealed more science and there might be developments, but there's nothing really new. What worked in the past still works today. So metabolic activation is a technique that is combining high-intensity metabolic conditioning and resistance training into a single workout. Now, the way that you do that is you perform a lift. Let's say you're doing a chest press. Once you complete your chest press, in what would be considered as your rest period, a 1 minute time frame between when you do your sets, in that time frame you don't rest. What you do is you perform a metabolic activation exercise, and that metabolic activation exercise stimulates your cardiovascular system, your heart and your lungs, without doing cardio. But because the primary focus is on moving the body as opposed to doing cardio exercise like running, rowing, swimming, biking, cross trainer, stepper, and it's performed at a high intensity, what happens is your body reacts to the stimulus because it's growing muscle and it's elevating the heart rate under a load, all right, under a weight or even your own body weight if you're doing body weight exercises, as opposed to running or cycling, which is a low resistance format. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is build our muscle at the same time as increasing our heart rate and keeping that heart rate up for the whole period. Now, workouts will can take up to about an hour. Some can take a little bit longer. What I would recommend, and hear me here, what I would recommend is when it comes to the duration of your workout, start off on your first week around that 30 to 45 minute mark and build up by about week 4, build up to about that hour mark if you can. If you're strapped for time, we've got people doing this program in half an hour. They set the time limit, they go for it. Once the half hour is done, they're done. It's quality over quantity. So I just want you to be sure that you can still get amazing results without having to spend hours in the gym. Okay, an hour max. If you want to push it a little bit further, it's an hour 15. Please don't go anything over that. You don't need it. Okay, it's you can get the same results at about 30 to 45 minutes. You do not need to go over the hour mark. All right, I just wanted to emphasize that. So, metabolic activation, it's about getting the cardiovascular system working very hard under load as opposed to continuous movement. We could also call this high intensity interval training, all right, but we wanted to frame it up with a slightly different language, metabolic activation. And this is going to replace your rest periods. And basically, this is the key to maximizing your results. This has done phenomenal things for me over just the past 2 weeks, where I'm seeing the results already. It's actually quite startling because I wasn't expecting to see the visible results so soon. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen in you guys. So your metabolic activation exercises are listed here, and I will be adding these to the exercise library. Currently, they're not there. So as we go throughout the sessions, I'm basically going to show you how to do these metabolic exercises. My recommendation here is if you're unfamiliar with some of these exercises, do not do them. Only do the ones that you are familiar with. So if you're starting fresh and we haven't got the video tutorials up, then what I would suggest is doing the lunges, squats, push-ups, burpees, stuff like that, box jumps, step-ups on a chair or a box, stuff like that, as opposed to the more difficult movements like a kettlebell swing, like a kettlebell clean, um, and the like. The rest are pretty simple, but nevertheless, it's better to kind of operate with sound technique. So I'll be getting that out to you in the week to come. All right, lots of content coming out this week, so pay attention to the membership portal. I'll also be posting it on the Facebook group. Now, the fourth element that makes this program unique is play formation. What is play formation? Well, it's play and transformation at the same time. Okay, again, we wanted to disassociate cardio from the gym, and the best way to do that is play. We want to integrate your family into this journey. The best way to do that is play with them. So we don't want you to spend 6 days in the gym. I absolutely don't want that. I want you to focus on what you love, focus on your family, and focus on getting the results that you need while trying to build in sustainability. And I know that there's a few things that are absolutely crucial to making exercise sustainable. And the first thing is having something that will stimulate you cognitively. All right, when your mind is engaged and it's learning something new, you're going to sustain that thing. All right, so I would, that's where we say go and learn a skill. Take your wife out, go dancing. Take your kids out, go learn basketball. Go learn adult gymnastics. Go take them to karate. Do a karate class. Do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Go to a boxing class. Go to kickboxing. Do something. Do some salsa. Do some breakdance. Get on a mountain bike and go for a ride and stimulate your kind of like the wilderness mind. Go out and kind of see the world and see what is there before you. Go and explore some tracks, off-road mountain biking, trail running, just hiking. Go rock climbing. Learn a skill. Learn Olympic weightlifting. Now, that's slightly different because it's not necessarily cardiovascular. However, when you're learning Olympic weightlifting, there's so much movement involved and it's under a very light load, that learning that skill, which is absolutely an amazing skill to have, there is so much repetition involved, your body will react to it really well. But it's so technical that it will keep you in the game for a number of years. Learn hand balancing. Take your kids out. If you've got daughters, go and do some handstands. Learn how to handstand. Learn how to cartwheel again. Go and play. Get a skateboard. Go skateboarding. All right, so you'll see me on this journey. I'll be doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'll be at the running track doing some sprinting. I will be playing basketball. I will be, what else would I do? Yeah, did I say skateboarding? I love skating, so that's kind of like a little hobby of mine. So I'll be skating, playing basketball, doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'll be out on the track. And with most of those, I can take my kids along. So I know, or I'll be with my wife, and I know it's super engaging. So it's a cool little thing. All right, so that's how we instill the love. So that's bring the cognitive element. The second element there is do it with your new Dad Bod Academy family. All right, so we're building a little community here. If you live in close proximity to each other, then I would say connect with each other and do something together. You know, like I played 4 hours um, touch basketball, just kind of icebreaker games, bit of shuttles, just games in general, team games for 4 hours on Sunday, and you could do the same. Collect the guys together, maybe get into a competition or whatever. Play touch, play footy, play tag, play soccer, whatever it is. Go and find that thing. So we want you to dissociate cardio from the gym. So what can you do? Here are some options: Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, judo, salsa, breakdance, off road mountain biking, swimming, trail running, calisthenics, adult gymnastics, rock climbing, CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, parkour, free running, diving, climbing, hand balancing, tightrope balancing, skateboarding, BMXing, and the list can go on. All right, find something that you love, find a skill that you want to develop, and understand that thing, if it provides a metabolic stimulus and a cognitive stimulus, you're probably going to sustain it over a very long time. That's the key, guys. That's the key. Enjoy what you do. Now, there is a training video library. I've shown you that in the previous video. Now, when it comes to training days, you will be required to train 4 times per week in the gym. All right, remember it's segmented into a week is segmented into a left side and a right side. All right, so on the left side, it's usually your strength component. On the right side, it's usually your endurance component. With play formation, you'll have 1 to 2 days doing cardio by play. Enjoy it, guys. And we want the other day to be a family time, so spend it with your family. Next, we have the Dad Bod Journal. So again, covering this in multiple videos, but it's essential, guys, that you record your journey day by day, blog it, vlog it, throw it onto the Facebook page. It's important. The next thing here is the Dad Bod Academy community. That's our lounge here. That's our Facebook group. And then you've got the Dad Bod Academy members lounge here as well. Okay, team, so next is the breakdown of the exercise structure. So what you're going to see here are the 4 days of training: 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and you'll notice it says day 1, day 2, day 4, day 5. Now in the middle here, day 3, 6, and 7 are your play days or family time. That's when you get to rest. Okay, so ensure to select 1 metabolic activation conditioning exercise per exercise set. I've got to explain that. All right, and perform for 1 minute as your quote-unquote rest period. Okay, so what does that all mean? All right, that means the way that you're going to structure your programs is you're going to do a bench press. You'll perform 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, and then in between that time, in between sets here, you'll be doing a metabolic activation exercise, one of these up here, right here. Okay, you'll be performing one of those exercises. All right, so you'll do bench press for 1 set of 8 to 12. Then you'll do 1 minute of let's say a kettlebell swing or a body weight squat. You'll do that for 4 sets, then you'll move on to the next one. You'll do an incline dumbbell press. You'll do that for 1 set of 8 to 12. Then following that set immediately, you'll go into your metabolic activation. So let's say in this sense, it's a medicine ball slam, where you pick up the ball, you take it overhead and you throw it onto the floor. Okay, you'll do that for 4 sets, and then you'll move on. So you're constantly moving throughout this program. Now, in terms of the structure of the program, what you're going to notice is we're working primarily only a couple of body parts per day. All right, so what you have here is chest, triceps, and abs. That's your pushing element. Then on the next day, we have a vertical push, your shoulders, legs, and calves. So it's shoulders with a leg component. All right, now on day 4, you have your back, which is your pulling, back, traps, and biceps. So those are your pulling muscles. And then on day 5, we return to chest, triceps, and abs, but there's a slight difference in how you do that. And here's a key example of what it looks like to do, your sets and reps, and how it looks differently on each day. Okay, so here the sets are primarily four and three. Over here it's all three, but the repetitions are 12 to 15 reps. Okay, but you'll notice now when it comes to week 2 that we have a cycle. Okay, we have a cycle, and it starts off with shoulders, legs, and calves. Then it comes to back, traps, and biceps, chest, triceps, and abs, and then shoulders, legs, and calves. And you'll notice that happens again: back, traps, and biceps, chest, triceps, and abs, shoulders, legs, and calves, back, traps, and triceps. So what you start on is what you'll finish on for that week. Okay, guys, and then the macro cycles continue, and we go to phase 2, we go to phase 3, and then we go to phase 4, and then we finish. Now, when we get down to the last day, we have what we call a dad bod wad, the dad bod wad. So we have day 86 and day 90. We have one. This is the only exercise work set that will be different. I'll explain that to you once we get there, and how it's going to look different, and I'll show you what to do, and I'll even show you the workout. I'll show you me doing it. And this is kind of going to be like the big finale, all right, to kind of show you that this is your kind of your plan to kind of move on into the next phase of your journey. It's also to show you that, to tell us that you were committed to this journey, and that, it's almost like the illustration or the metaphor of what has gone in over the last 90 days. So I'm looking forward to the final week. And by here, guys, there's going to be some dramatic transformations, which I'm super excited for. Okay, team, so that's it for the programming. If you have any questions, please feel free to get back